Hey ladies, welcome back to Flourish. I am finally back with both Lisa and Jenica. We started out the season, all three of us together. We spent most of fall together.
We did.
Yeah.
It was good.
And then we kind of hit the new year and we just kind of got split up. It just is what it is.
It was a potpourri. It was fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we are back together now, and this is actually kind of our wrap up for the year. You know, we've had some really great conversations. We've really enjoyed our time with you. We hope that you've enjoyed it also, but all good things have to come to an end, at least for a season.
It's for the summer.
Yeah. It's Minnesota, let's be real.
Yeah.
You all aren't going to show up inside to watch a video of us when you have the option of being outside at a lake or other things. Yes, which is wonderful. I also want to let you know about an event in case I forget at the end. We are getting together as a large group on April 29th in the Fellowship Hall. We have a super fun night planned. It's actually just going to be a night of laughter, and I think we could all use that now more than ever. My friend Heather Peabody is going to come in. She's a comedian, and I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. She does corporate training and other awesome things. I think you'll really enjoy her, so we're just going to have a good time. Fellowship Hall, Living Word, 7 p.m., April 29th. Hope you'll join us.
Yeah, it was fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Okay, we do have a message for you today, a conversation that we're going to start and hope that you'll continue in your groups or continue online, you know, commenting on the YouTube channel or commenting on Facebook. So really, the title of this conversation is Shine, because I don't know if you all have noticed, but we've been in kind of a pretty dark time. Like, I don't even know how else to describe it. I don't think
there's been a lot of hurt and
it's been confusing, and I think it's so different than what any of us expected. You know, we kind of looked at 2020 and we looked at, okay, 2021 is going to be better, and it hasn't really been a lot better. There's a lot of hurt, there's a lot of things going on, but the thing that I love about the dark is that even the tiniest light is visible, right? The darker the sky, the brighter the stars seem to shine.
Right.
You know, we can't see a firefly during the daytime, but they look pretty cool at night. You know, it's just a tiny light, but it's so visible. I think God intended the same for us. You know, He created us for this time. Sometimes I'm not sure why, but He did. He created us for this time, and He created us to shine. So I really want to wrap up this season by looking at how we can continue to shine no matter how dark things get. I want to start with Matthew 5:14 through 16. It says, "You are the world's light, a city on a hill, glowing in the night for all to see. Don't hide your light. Let it shine for all. Let your good deeds glow for all to see, so that they will praise your heavenly Father." Because girls, our light, it isn't about us, and it's not for us. First of all, our light is from God, and it's for God. It's meant to bring glory back to Him. In Mark 4:21, Jesus said, "Would anyone light a lamp and then put it under a basket or under a bed? Of course not. A lamp is placed on a stand where its light will shine." I think some of us have kind of come out of 2020 wanting to hide under a blanket. I know that I've had my days and my moments even this week.
Sure, yeah.
But the reality is we're meant to shine. We're not meant to hide in the darkness. We're not meant to hide from the things that are going on in this world. I want you to listen to this devotion. It's from Brian Simmons. He's the writer of the Passion Translation. This is from the Divine Romance. It says, "Many argue that God would never give His glory to another. But as His child, you're not another. You're the temple of His Holy Spirit, fearfully and wonderfully made. You're one with Christ. The same glory that Jesus exuded when He walked upon the earth abides inside of you. It abides inside each one of us. The power that raised Him from the grave is the power that surges through you." Just think about that for a minute. Now you shine as bright as the sun, from glory to glory. God takes you each moment, transforming you into the image of Jesus with greater clarity. The enemy knows this, and he fears you. He doesn't want you to believe it. This is the time to be bold. It's the time to love fervently, forgive quickly, and to let your light shine. Heal the sick, set the captives free, and believe the impossible is possible. You aren't called to hide.
That's good.
That's for you. You're not called to hide. You're created to display his brilliance into every sector of society that he's placed you in. Every sector. I just love that. Ephesians 5:8-9 says, once our lives were full of sin's darkness, but now we have the very light of our Lord shining through us because of our union with him. Our mission is to live as children flooded with his revelation light, and the supernatural fruits of his light will be seen in us. Goodness, righteousness, and truth. I just think about how much the world needs those things right now. We need goodness, we need righteousness, and we need truth.
And I love that it says the supernatural fruit of his light that's in us. So it's not our goodness, righteousness, and truth.
Right.
It's his goodness, righteousness, and truth, which is the fruit of him being, it's his fruit.
Yes.
And it's not us.
Right.
It's him.
Yep.
And it takes a little bit of the pressure off.
It takes all the pressure off.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we feel like we need to drum this up, like, how can I be a light? Well, I mean, honestly, you probably can't on your own. You can't on your own. But you don't have to be.
Right.
It's his fruit.
Right.
From coming from within us.
Which
it's
always
light.
goes back to the more of God that I have in me, the more light that I have to shine.
Yes.
And so, and even then, like, because we talked about even how different light bulbs have different wattage.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what, sometimes all you need is a night light. You just need a little bit of light so you don't trip over the Legos on the way to the bathroom. Sometimes that you trip over the dog or whatever.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need a floodlight when you're playing basketball in your driveway at 10 o'clock at night.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, you have different wattages of light for different seasons in your life and different situations in your life.
Yeah.
And the people around you can handle a certain amount of light. And it's like, because you don't want to scare people. You don't want to shine a flashlight in people's faces.
Yeah.
You're like, you don't want to be that. We don't want to be that. We want to be gentle.
Yeah.
And soft.
And shine as we are.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, the purpose is to not hide our light because the world needs us to shine. There's so much pain, there's so much confusion, and there's so much darkness that people, they don't know where to turn.
Right.
And so that's why we need to shine, so that they do have a source of truth and righteousness. And we have to look different. I mean, really, we have to stand out right now.
Yeah.
In John 8:12, Jesus said, I'm the light of the world. So if you follow me, you won't be stumbling through the darkness, for living light will flood your path. Again, when we follow Jesus, the light of the world, we won't stumble in this dark time. When we let his light shine through us, we're going to spread his love and his peace to a world that desperately needs him. But again, they don't know him and they don't recognize him, so he wants to shine through us. I want to share this poem. It's by Mariana Williamson. It says, our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are we not to be? We're children of God. Our playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around us. We're all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that's within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in every single one of us. And as we let our own light shine, we give other people permission to do the same. And as we wrap that quote up, I just remember something that the Lord spoke to my heart a few years ago. He just whispered, never be afraid to let someone else's light shine. That's when you shine brightest. So not only do I want to look at what it means for us to shine, I want to look at what it looks like when we allow others to shine. You know, I know most of my favorite moments have been when I've been able to lift someone else up, when I've been able to see them shine. I love seeing girls operate in their gifts. I love encouraging people and seeing people encouraged, and I love helping other people to shine. So today I just want to look at how we can be more intentional at lifting each other up so that we'll shine brighter together. I mean, that's been one of the things that I've loved about sitting at this table, bringing in other girls so that you can meet them and get to see the gifts in them and encourage each other together. Philippians 2:3-4 says, "Do nothing with selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility, let's count others as more significant than ourselves. Let each of us look not only to our own interests, but also to the interests of others." 1 Thessalonians 5:11 tells us to encourage each other and build each other up. You know, everything about God's design from beginning to end has always been about relationship. That's what I love about this group. That's what I love about starting these conversations here, because then they continue. And they continue to grow relationships. But the reality is that loving each other, loving others isn't easy. I think we're finding that out these days, that there's always a risk, and it always costs us something. You know, it might cost us our time. It might cost us money. And you know what? Loving people isn't convenient. You know, it doesn't seem like there's ever a right time or an easy time to reach out and give back. And there can also be things that hold us back from encouraging each other to shine. You know, maybe you've been hurt by someone, so you may not want to put yourself out there because, you know what, it might not feel like it's worth it. Or maybe you did take a risk at one time and it was painful, so you just don't want anyone else to feel that pain that you felt, so you don't want them to get hurt. Or you may be afraid of being outshined. I mean, that's real. You know, if you help a coworker, if you help your boss, it's possible that they'll outshine you. There's a chance. Or worse, they might take credit for something that you did. But again, it's also their rejection or stealing something that you did. It doesn't take away from the beauty or the investment of your sacrifice. So, girls, I just want you to remember that we shine brighter when we lift each other up and when we help others to be seen than we'll ever shine trying to showcase our own talents and our own skills. So to let others shine, let's start by paying attention.
Yeah.
You know, I think that that's really something that we have to do. I think we've been in this time again when we're struggling. Our tendency is to look inward, and that's necessary. But we also have to pay attention to those around us, what they're feeling, what they're thinking. Pay attention to their gifts and their strengths. Think of ways that we can encourage them. You know, when you notice something about someone, if you have a compliment that you're thinking about, you know, I've tried to do this the last few years. When I'm thinking something, I don't want to just think it and then walk away. Say it. Encourage each other. If you forget if there isn't an opportunity when you're together, send them a text. Say, hey, I just noticed, I don't know, you kind of had a glow today, or I loved your scarf, or was that jacket new? You know, just lifting each other up. I think just building each other's confidence. You know, one author shared that there's an incredibly quick way to wake up from an overdose of self-importance, and it's helping others to shine. I love that.
Yeah, that's good.
1 Peter 4:10, in it we're told, God has given each of us gifts. Use them well to serve one another. And then in 1 John 4:19, it says, our love for others is our grateful response to the love God first demonstrated to us.
Can I just share an analogy that, as you've been talking?
Please.
So if you guys, when you're lighting a birthday, candles on a birthday cake, and you take one of the candles and you use it to light the other candles. And I mean, really one of the best ways that we can spread our light, like we were talking about with the gifts that God has given us, is by helping other people to light their own candles.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't take away from that one candle, right? But we can, like you're saying, I mean, there's the incredibly quick way to wake up is to help others shine. And one of the ways that we use our light and that we shine our light is to help other people shine in their light.
Yep. But again, that candle has to be lit.
The candle has to be lit.
Yeah, it has to already be shining. Yeah. The world is constantly trying to get us to compete and compare. But we have to remember that God is just calling us to love. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, simply paying attention to someone is loving them. God wants us to love without comparing and to love without judgment, because when we love with His love, we'll always help others to shine. And that's really when His light shines brightest through us. One of the things I was going to say is that we don't have to blow out our neighbor's candle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
For us to shine brighter. Mm-hmm. Again, I'd had that similar analogy. If we have a candle and we light another and we put them together, the second candle isn't taking anything away from the first.
Yeah.
They're just shining brighter together. I mean, you think about if you just left that one candle on the cake and you didn't take it to light the others, how ridiculous that would look.
Yeah.
That one candle wouldn't look amazing. But if you have 15
sad.
other candles all lit together,
Right.
it looks really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It doesn't, lighting a second candle doesn't make it less bright or less beautiful. It simply adds more light. And again, they shine better together. One of the things that I love to do, I think I've shared this before, but I love to put different vases on top of our fireplace and different size vases, candles. I have large pillar candles, I have little tea lights, and the reality is if I would light just one of those candles, even if it was the biggest and the brightest candle on my mantle, it would not look nearly as beautiful as it looks when they're all lit together. And the other thing that I've noticed, those tea lights tend to go out a little faster than my big pillar candles. And I noticed even if one of them is missing.
Absolutely. There's a hole there.
There is.
There's a visible hole.
There's something missing.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes we think that because we're not the brightest, we're not the one in the position to be seen, we're not at the highest, whatever that highest is, we think that it's not significant, but that's not true. That's honestly the enemy trying to distract us from shining where we are and where we're called to be, at the wattage that we're called to be. Again, it's not about comparing.
And for the people that we're called to be a light for. And if you have small children, your family is who you light.
Yes.
Yeah.
You light for them. It's like you don't have to reach the whole city. You don't have to reach the nation.
Yep.
You have to reach where God has placed you at the time you are. That's really who you're ministering to, and who you're being a light for is sometimes it's just literally your family, and that's
huge.
Great.
That is so
It's
important.
huge.
And that is difficult.
It can be.
Yeah.
It can be very difficult.
Because it can
when
feel
you're
insignificant.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that, and it can be exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so important. So it's really, there is no time when you shine your light that it doesn't matter.
Right.
God, it always is important. Always.
And it always attracts, because light attracts.
If you're in a dark room,
Yeah.
you turn towards light.
Right.
The tiniest, if there is just a speck of light, but everything else is dark, you will turn towards that light.
Yep. And I just think about what you said. If we're shining in our own homes and there's 4 people, maybe there's 6 people in your home and you shine, that light is going to affect them. And then when you go out, their light is going to affect others. So again,
Yeah, you're lighting the candles on the cake.
Exactly.
Yes, it has a multiplying effect even in our homes. So I love that. That's a beautiful analogy. So really, girls, I want you to realize, never be afraid of someone else's light. Help them shine, because we shine brightest when we shine together.
Absolutely.
And remember, God isn't afraid of the dark either.
Right.
No.
I think sometimes as Christians, we're distracted by the darkness and we get caught in fear, but God isn't afraid of the dark. It's easy to think that we'll shine for God when we've gotten our miracle, or when we've gotten our breakthrough, or when everything looks just right. But most often we're called to be a light even right in the middle of our own darkest moments.
Yeah.
So no matter what's going on in your world, no matter what darkness you're battling, because we all have areas that we're
Everybody's
struggling
got
in.
stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody's got stuff. Yep.
God can use us at our hardest moments, and the darkest things in our life, he can use those too to shine his light through. Because again, it's not about our light, it's about his light shining through even in those dark times and those dark moments. He isn't afraid of all the darkness and all the brokenness in the world right now. And he isn't afraid of the dark places in our own hearts, that the ones that we've even tried to keep hidden from him.
And we can't.
Oh, no.
We
We can't keep them hidden. And they're not a surprise.
No.
I think you're keeping a secret from the Lord.
No, there are no secrets from the Lord. But that's
No.
a good thing.
It is.
It is.
That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
No, I think we look at that as like, he sees all things. And it's like, thank God he sees all things, because he's the only one that can fix it.
Right.
Yep.
We can't do it in our own strength, like we talked about last week. It's through his strength. And remember, God has a habit of showing up in the darkest moments. right? I mean, it was the darkest times in history. That's when Jesus came. That's when we saw some of the most amazing miracles. And that's when he chose to shine his light into those dark times and into those moments.
Absolutely.
You know, the stars are always shining. They're shining 24 hours a day. We just don't see them until it gets dark. And the darker the night, the brighter they seem to shine. So I want to share one last verse as we kind of wrap up. It's Isaiah 60. It's actually verses 1-4, so I guess that's more than one. But it says, "Arise, my people, let your light shine for all the nations to see, for the glory of the Lord is streaming from you. Darkness as black as night shall cover all the peoples of the earth, but the glory of the Lord will shine from you." Read these for yourselves.
Yeah.
Girls, I want you to focus on these verses. All nations will come to your light. Mighty kings will come to see the glory of the Lord upon you. Lift up your eyes and see. For your sons and daughters are coming home to you from distant lands. Our light matters, again, because it's not our light. It's his light shining through us. So let God's light shine through you, and let's be intentional about letting others shine. We love you so much.
Thank you so much.
I hope you have great conversations, and I hope that you'll join us on Thursday night. Again, it's April 29th, Fellowship Hall, 7 p.m. We love you so much. Bless you.